We're live here at the Healthcare Interactive Conference in Las Vegas with my good friend Matt. Matt, it's the first time I've been able to actually interview you on a podcast, and I'm excited to do so.
I know.
Today.
Hello. This is exciting.
I've known you for a number of years now, a long time. We're not going to give away our ages, but I would love for you to share a little bit about your background, where you came from, and what you're doing.
Sure. So I've been in healthcare for a number of years. I will also not name the number, but it's well over a decade. I didn't start in healthcare. I started in technology and .com and learned a lot there and wanted to do something more purpose-driven. So I started my healthcare career at University of Virginia Health System. I followed one of my best bosses ever to Duke when she went there and was at Duke Health for a number of years, and now I kind of walked down the road and switched shades of blue, and I've been at UNC Health for a little over 6 years.
And what's your role there?
My role has changed recently. I started leading marketing technology for the system, and this past year I've expanded that role, so now I'm responsible for service line marketing, growth marketing, and marketing technology. So really all the ways we can reach out and touch a consumer.
I mean, you're finally exemplifying the fact that every marketer should be a technologist by nature.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, and it's interesting you had that tech background, and now you're in just marketing strategy.
Yeah, you need to be fluent in that.
Yeah, because it's become part of us.
Absolutely.
Who doesn't have an email address, you know? I mean, honestly. But one thing that I know, coming again from a technology background and now being a strategist, is if there's one thing that's constant in our lives, it's change.
Oh, absolutely.
Change always happens. Technology thrusts change on upon us the last, 3 years with generative AI, etc., coming into play. But change is always with us.
Change is always with us.
And I think that sometimes in healthcare, we have trouble adapting to change.
We are not known for being quick on our feet. It takes a while to steer the ship in a different direction.
Right.
But change is always happening. I was actually reflecting yesterday that this is we'll just obscure the number, but I've been coming to HCIC for many, many years. And even here, I've seen the types of sessions change, the focus change. It's not about a website anymore. It's about a whole digital ecosystem. It's about how you show up in the world and really getting to consumer experience, consumer journeys, how you measure those, metrics, things that 10 years ago weren't really the focus. So yeah, change and adapting, something I think you have to be able to do here. And recently I feel like as healthcare leaders, we have to get comfortable with change at a pace that we are not comfortable.
A very rapid pace.
Yes.
So for those listening in, many of them are not native change agents or people that are adaptive to change. What are some things that you've learned in order to adapt to being changed?
Oh, wow. I mean, I've experienced a lot of change on the technology side, but we've also been undergoing a lot of change just structurally at the health system and within our department. And I think the first thing I learned is everyone's going to fill in the blanks. So communicate as much information as you can, as transparently as you can, because if you leave blanks, people are going to fill in worst case scenario.
Right.
And that can quickly lead to spiraling and worrying about things that may not even be true and probably aren't true. So I think that's one of the key lessons I've learned.
Yeah.
You've got to be out there talking to people, reassuring people, sharing as much as you can, and being honest there are tough questions sometimes that you aren't able to answer. And it's okay to say, I know the answer, I can't share that with you yet, but as soon as I can, I will.
That doesn't sound ominous at all. But I mean, you're right. I mean, you do have to be as transparent as possible. I agree with you on that. And that is hard at times, particularly when you're dealing with things that are, change could be positive, but some changes are negative. Right?
Absolutely, and that's probably one of the other things I've learned is even if the change is positive, it's still change.
Yeah.
And change can be uncomfortable, and change can be scary. So you might get to the end and think, wow, I'm so glad that change happened. but along the way, you're going through all the emotions and all the feels.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that. That's human.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I'm a big fan of, I've studied a lot John Cotter, change management. And one of the other things that he brings up a lot is that you have to celebrate small wins along the way. Because change doesn't happen suddenly. Well, most times, right? I mean, there are some dramatic changes. A resignation of a CEO.
Yes.
Or, something. But think about like what happened through the pandemic and how we had to change and adapt to that space. And that time, it was like, it was gradual, but it felt sudden.
Right.
Well,
in many ways, it was sudden because we had to go from, I think of virtual care.
Yeah.
Something on the roadmap, something we'll slowly implement, something we might get to over time, to the only way we're going to see patients is virtually. So somehow everyone mobilizes and accomplishes in weeks what otherwise could have taken years.
And in that particular case, that's a good example of how some change, right, could enable something really good and positive. And you're right. It's like we've always seen this on the roadmap. We're going to adopt virtual care. And suddenly we did.
Yes.
Have we undone that since the pandemic?
Slowly. Yeah. I mean, I think we're in a better place than we were before the pandemic.
Right.
But the realities of reimbursement and of capacity and of all the things that were the roadblocks to implementing before the pandemic, I think they've kind of clawed their way in. But we're still in a better place than we were.
Yeah, because we've been able to adapt to that. The other thing I saw a lot is we in marketing, we were brought to the table to communicate important things during that critical period of time. And those communications changed rapidly. And they relied on our expertise to reach out to those markets.
Yes.
Right? Did you see that too?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we suddenly had a different role, so it was less about attracting new patients and more about letting the world know what we were doing, what they could expect, how they could get care, and really, I think, playing an important part in keeping people healthy and assured during a very scary time.
Yeah. And now, once that toothpaste is out of the tube, meaning once the organization knows we're good at these things, they see us differently now, right?
Absolutely. I think from a communication side, that's very true. From a marketing strategy side, I think we're all at various levels of success being viewed as strategic partners as opposed to just that group that is going to put up a billboard, it's going to do a campaign for me.
Right.
And that's been kind of a gratifying change at UNC is I think we're making progress being seen as that partner. We've got service lines that are being stood up across the system to really bring providers together in a meaningful way. And we're involved from a marketing standpoint early on. We're in those meetings, whether it's just to listen, to provide input. We know things from consumer insights that can shape the way we are rolling these service lines out. So I think there's been a really nice change there to elevating the role of marketing within the organization.
But by doing so, there's that adage, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So now we've been asking to be at these tables, now we're there. That's shifted what we have to do as well. And I think that kind of plays into what we're seeing talked about all over this conference.
I think so, and there's definitely an aspect of evaluating where you are as a team and what kind of professional development might be necessary, what kind of skilling up might be necessary, and whether there are kind of new roles and new skills you need to bring in to support this new establishment of we're strategic partners and this expectation that you're going to bring it, and you're not just going to be sitting there in the corner like, okay, yep, we'll put that campaign together for you.
What you're outlining is like there is changes that are thrust upon us from external factors, pandemic, generative AI. Then there are also internal changes, and sometimes it's the hardest to face.
Those can be very hard because, you're talking about people, and oftentimes people who've been doing the same or similar jobs for a long time, and sometimes who are really comfortable doing that.
Right.
So now we're talking about moving people into new roles sometimes, making sure that they are gaining new skills, bringing new people into the mix. And in our case, we've been doing a lot of restructuring. We just went through a reorganization of our entire department to align better to where we're going as a system, and that's disruptive.
Yeah.
We're also more closely aligning with our academic side, so we're bringing in many of our School of Medicine communicators to be part of our broader department, and that is another change that it's different than the way we've operated in the past.
Right.
So I think it'll be ultimately better and a positive change, but like we've said before, going through it can be hard.
Going through it is hard, and I think Cotter's one of his 8 steps of change is momentum, maintaining the momentum, because sometimes it's hard to get through it. It takes time.
It's hard, it takes time, and I think one of the other lessons that I have to remind myself of over and over again is people are not going through that change at your pace. And as a leader, I may already be thinking we're past something. I'm thinking about the next thing. But the team, they're still back here.
Yeah.
And it's important to remind yourself of that so that you're not so far ahead that the momentum's lost because people are still wandering back here,
right,
unsure of why are we doing this? Where are we going? What's the next step?
Right.
I'm already on the 4th step.
I think having that awareness is really a true asset of a good leader. And I think that's why it's great that you are a great leader in this space. You're kind of exemplary.
Kind of you to say. I'll give myself at least a C grade.
Oh, well, I'll do it a little higher, but still. But Matt, I really appreciate you spending some time here talking about something that really is not technology related. It's more about people related. So.
Well, I appreciate the time, and honestly, I think in most of what we do, technology is a component, but you can't forget the people portion. Like, that is the biggest aspect of it.
That's great words. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.